thought I'd do a follow-up video to the one I did a couple of days ago. Obviously I've changed a couple of things. I put a little bit of an intro on today, and I did that using Canva. You know, sort of quite a simple sort of way of doing little intros like that. And I thought with my videos, I'm sort of going to get them out there as I do them. You know, learning progress. I'm not a professional. I'm not trying to put out videos that are really supremely made. Or although obviously I like to get there and get better. I suppose anybody making videos would there. But I thought it'd be a little bit of a journey really. But yeah, so I use Canva, and obviously I've changed the lighting. You know, I sort of, you know, a lot of videos have a lot of, got obviously good lighting and bright lighting, but sometimes I think it's nice to have the neon light, so it may cause a little bit of blurriness here and there or whatever with the video. But you know, I thought, you know, it's nice to have the sort of neon. To me, that's what it's all about. It's that's really part of the gaming experience to me, is having a little environment to enjoy games, and sometimes just have a little bit of quiet time, a little gaming time. It's really good for you know. Also, the little sort of 5 second, 6 second bit of music I did myself. I used this music maker on the PlayStation 1. I've obviously got the camera on reverse angle, so you can't read it that well. You obviously can work it out. But yeah, I used that, and this was a really good music maker game back in the day for the PlayStation 1. And sort of the way people make music on laptops hasn't sort of changed much from sort of things like this. You know, you just put the blocks of music and put them together. So I used that, you know, to do the intro, only sort of 6 7 seconds bit of music. And I also found a way. I always say there's always a way of finding ways to do things, and I was sort of wondering, how do I get this sort of music from the PlayStation through to my laptop, you know. So eventually sort of I found a way of using Audacity, and it's just a matter of finding the lead. I think a lot of things are just finding the right leads in retro gaming or gaming in general. If you find the right lead, problems can be solved. But anyway, I found the lead at a connected PlayStation 1, or I connected the PlayStation 1 to my TV, and I found the lead, and I was able to take the audio from my TV using Audacity, which is obviously a free music program, and we went from there. So that was okay. But yeah, but anyway, as I say, it's just a follow-up video to the other one the other day, and in that video I mentioned a couple of games that I sort of found in my local charity shops, just to show that it can be found. And the first game I found, which is quite a couple of years ago now, was this, you know, Cooler World on PlayStation 1. You know, a lot of people say this is actually quite a sought after game. You know, I mean, you know, you're not talking hundreds of pounds, but you know, I think it's about sort of 40 50 pounds to, you know, to get this game on eBay. It's still sort of got some of the stickers from the start, from when it probably came out originally. I don't always take them off. I think sometimes there's a little bit of nostalgia about some of the stickers. You can obviously take them off anyway. But yeah, I found that, you know, and you know, I didn't know the game, to be honest with you, when I first found it. You know, we've all got our phones with us these days, and I sort of checked it when I looked on my phone, and I thought, oh yeah, this is quite a nice game. So obviously I picked that up. And then some time ago, I sort of went in again to my local charity shop, and I found this one, Left 4 Dead 2. Now this isn't, you know, that collectible. We could probably get it 10 15 pounds sort of thing, but you know what, it's a lot better when you're sort of paying £2.50 for it. And the other thing is, I don't think this game had a manual when I found it, and it's not always a bad thing to pick up a game without a manual, because I think a lot of people, obviously we all want the manuals, we want the full product, but it's always worth sort of picking up a game if it hasn't got a manual, if you're getting a really good deal on it. You know, a lot of sellers on eBay especially, you know, they don't get half as much money when they're selling a game without a manual. So, you know, you can pick up a little bargain there, you know. So pick some of these games up. Obviously, it has to be sort of cheap enough where if you then go and find a manual elsewhere separately, you're still getting a good deal, you know. So I found the sort of manual to this game. I think I found it for £1.50 on eBay, and that included the postage, you know. So I can't knock it really. That's a sort of good find. So yeah, always look. And also, if you go to these London trading markets, or trading markets, gaming trading anywhere, you know, a lot of these traders, they sell manuals. They just sell a big box. The last one I went to in London is one near King's Cross, every few months. And yeah, the guy had about 300 manuals under the table, and I just had a look through. And sometimes, you know, you can find a manual to a game uh, that you haven't got the manual for, and the guy was only wanting sort of a couple of pounds each for some of these manuals. Okay, if it ended up being a really valuable manual, he's probably going to want a bit more money for it. But yeah, so there's always ways. Sometimes you can't, you know, you're not always going to pick up a game in complete order, but you can make it complete. Also, it's a bit like the inlay cards, PS1 PS2 games that might have a little rip or whatever. You go on eBay again, you can find these for a couple of pounds. So yeah, there's always a way of doing it. The other thing I was going to talk about briefly is you know, these sort of plastic boxes that you can buy. You know, I bought Super Mario World. I only bought a SNES a couple of years ago, and you know, I really felt I missed out on the SNES. And in a way, it's brilliant to get a new console. It feels like a new console to me, but you know, I'm really getting into the SNES, and I obviously bought the cartridge only Mario World, and that was about £25. And you know, to get the box, cardboard box in very good condition for a game like this is often quite expensive. But these are not a bad idea if you're not really wanting the sort of purest things. Sometimes these are obviously presentations very nice, and these are about £7.99 on eBay, but you know, they make for a good way of packaging a game and displaying a game, and then you can sort of put them in your cabinet and they look pretty good. But it's obviously personal choice about how you want things, you know, to look. But yeah, I sort of, you know, occasionally I'll pick a couple of these up, if, especially for SNES, because so many SNES games are just a cartridge, and you know, you can just get a bit of a complete package if you like by getting these. And then the other last thing I was going to talk about is, you know, I'm thinking about getting out and about to some of the retro gaming shops, because you know, I often feel that retro gaming shops, you know, they're doing quite well obviously at the moment, because it's a really big thing at the moment, retro gaming. But you know, some of them still need support. So I mean, I live sort of close to Peterborough, and there's a gaming shop called Next Gen, which is in a place called Stamford. Now Stamford's a really beautiful place, only about 8 or 9 miles from Peterborough. It's well worth a visit anyway, Stamford, especially on a beautiful day like we have today. But yeah, but I just wanted to say that sometimes you can really pick up, you know, really good things in some of these retro gaming shops. And I've been going to Next Generation for a couple of years probably. I've got to know the guy in there, really nice guy in there who runs the place, who really knows his stuff. And you know, I picked up this game, Comic Zone. Comic Zone is a really interesting game. I won't go into the games because you know, I'll do that at a later date. So I haven't really got a fantastic capture card. And you know, that's another thing. If anybody can really go into a reasonably affordable way of getting game capture, I know there are capture cards and stuff like this, and some of them are quite expensive. But if anybody can put down in the comments, you know, decent capture card that's reasonably easy to use. That's the other thing. I want to go down the line of things being quite easy to use. You know, we're not all technical wizards. I'm certainly not a technical wizard, although I can learn slowly sometimes. But yeah, but I picked that up, and you know, I'm not going to say how much I got it for, but you know, it was a really good lot of find. You know, I got it at a better deal than a lot of the things that I was getting on eBay and Facebook Marketplace I mentioned before. So it really is worth going to some of these retro gaming shops. And obviously, retro gaming shops are different all over the country. I live in the UK, and some may sort of charge right at the top end, but you know what, some of them you really can hunt around, you can find a good bargain. I mean, I was really pleased. I was looking for Comic Zone for some time. I was sort of waiting about to look it on eBay, you know, and I found it, you know, cheaper in a retro gaming shop than I would have found at the cheapest on eBay. So always sort of, you know, keep your eyes open to retro gaming shops, have a chat to the guys who run these places. So often they're really nice guys, and they'll do your deal if you buy 2 or 3 games. So yeah, always keep you sort of lookout. But yeah, so on that fact, I'm going to do a follow-up video in a week or so. I've spoken to the guy at Next Gen in Stamford, and I'm going to go in there. I'm going to have a little chat to him about retro gaming scene and what it's like to run a retro gaming shop like that. And I'll probably post it up. He's agreed to do a little bit of footage, let me film in the shop, and he's going to chat to me about it. And we'll go from there. So I hope you're all keeping well. It's a lovely sunny day in the UK, and I'm stuck in here doing this video. But yeah, but I might get out there for a little bit into the sun. But yeah, anyway, take care of yourselves. I'll do a follow-up video soon, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.